If this conversation speaks to something deeper inside you, stay with me until the end. Some ideas don't change your life instantly. They change the way you see your life. And that changes everything. Let me ask you something gently. When was the first time you believed your body was failing you? Maybe it was a diagnosis. Maybe it was chronic fatigue that wouldn't go away. Maybe it was pain that lingered longer than it should have. Maybe it was simply aging, the quiet realization that you don't recover the way you used to from the beginning. Most of us were taught a simple story. The body gets older. The body breaks down. Illness is inevitable. It sounds logical. It sounds scientific. It sounds realistic. And so we accept it. We accept stiff joints as normal. We accept low energy as just life. We accept medication as permanent. We accept decline as unavoidable. But here's the part no one emphasizes. Every single day, even right now as you listen, your body is repairing itself. Your heart is adjusting rhythm. Your liver is filtering toxins. Your immune system is scanning for threats. Your cells are regenerating. Tiny tears in muscle tissue are being rebuilt. Hormones are recalibrating. You are not consciously commanding any of this. Something inside already knows how to restore balance. So which story is incomplete? The story that says your body is designed to deteriorate, or the evidence happening silently every moment that your body is built with astonishing intelligence? This is not about denying medicine. Medicine saves lives. Surgery saves lives. Antibiotics save lives. Emergency intervention saves lives, but perhaps we were only taught half the picture. We were taught how to fight disease. We were rarely taught how healing works. And what if illness is not proof that your body failed, but proof that it is communicating? Pause with that. What if symptoms are signals? Pain may be overload. Fatigue may be depletion. Inflammation may be protection. Anxiety may be a nervous system stuck in high alert. When you touch something hot, pain is not betrayal. It is intelligence. When you develop a fever, the body raises temperature to create a less hospitable environment for pathogens. That discomfort is strategy. When you feel exhausted after weeks of stress, your body is not weak. It is enforcing rest. But somewhere along the way, we began to treat every symptom as an enemy. Silence the headache. Suppress the acid reflux. Override the anxiety. Push through the fatigue. Ignore the tension. Again, there are times when intervention is necessary. Severe illness requires treatment. Some conditions are life-threatening and demand immediate care. But in many cases, the body is not attacking you. It is signaling. Imagine your dashboard lights turning on while you're driving. You wouldn't smash the light and assume the problem is solved. You would check what triggered it. What if illness is the dashboard light? Not the failure, the warning. Now let's step back. Look at nature for a moment. Forests burn and regenerate. Skin tears and closes. Night falls and restores what day exhausts. Seasons shift and rebalance. Ecosystems. Living systems are built for equilibrium. Your body is not separate from that principle. Your heart beats in rhythm. Your breath cycles. Your sleep follows circadian timing. Your nervous system alternates between activation and rest. Your cells are constantly dying and being replaced. This is not random chaos. This is coordinated design. Call it biological intelligence. Call it natural law. Call it divine order. But the pattern is clear. Healing is not rare. Healing is constant. We only notice when it struggles, and often. It struggles not because the body is defective, but because conditions are overwhelming. Modern life is not aligned with ancient biology. Artificial light extends our day far beyond sunset. Screens stimulate our brains at midnight. Work invades weekends. Notifications interrupt rest. Stress never fully resolves. In the past, stress came in bursts. A threat appeared. You responded, and the nervous system returned to baseline. Now stress is chronic. Bills, deadlines, news cycles, social comparison, financial pressure, emotional suppression. The nervous system remains in fight or flight mode. cortisol rises. Inflammation increases. Digestion slows. Sleep fragments. Immune resilience weakens. If this state lasts minutes, you recover. If it lasts years, your body adapts to emergency mode. An adaptation over time often becomes what we label as chronic illness. High blood pressure. Metabolic imbalance. Autoimmune dysregulation. Persistent anxiety. Chronic fatigue. The body is not rebelling. It is adapting to long-term stress. Imagine driving a car with the accelerator pressed down continuously. Eventually, the engine overheats. That does not mean the engine was poorly designed. It means the input exceeded sustainable limits. Illness. Maybe the engine overheating, not betrayal overload. And there is another layer. Your thoughts are not abstract. They are biochemical events. Every repeated worry activates stress hormones. Every resentment tightens muscle fibers. Every fear shifts breathing patterns. Every belief about decline influences neural wiring. If you repeatedly tell yourself, "I'm falling apart," your nervous system listens. If you believe aging equals inevitable deterioration, your behavior subtly aligns with that belief. This is not about magical thinking. It is about physiology. The brain and body are one integrated system. Chronic self-criticism keeps stress chemistry elevated. Unresolved grief dampens energy. Constant comparison fuels anxiety. But safety, connection, calm send different signals. When you feel safe, your heart rhythm stabilizes. When you feel connected, inflammation markers often drop. When you feel hopeful, motivation for healthy behavior increases. The internal environment matters, which leads to a profound shift. You are not the mechanic fixing broken parts. You are the guardian of conditions. You cannot manually direct immune cells. You cannot consciously balance thyroid hormones. You cannot force tissue regeneration, but you can influence sleep. You can reduce unnecessary stress. You can nourish consistently. You can move daily. You can create moments of silence. You can allow rest without guilt. Healing does not begin with force. It begins with cooperation. It begins when interference decreases. When stress lowers, inflammation often lowers. When sleep improves, hormones recalibrate. When rhythm returns, resilience strengthens. Healing rarely arrives dramatically. It unfolds quietly. Clearer thinking. Better digestion. More stable mood. Gradual strength. Many people miss it because they expect fireworks. But healing is often subtle at first. Now let's talk about something deeper: control versus trust. There is a difference between caring for your body and trying to dominate it. Control says, if I don't micromanage everything perfectly, something terrible will happen. Trust says, my body and I are on the same team. When health becomes a battlefield, the nervous system remains defensive, and the body repairs best in safety. Trust does not mean ignoring medical care. It does not mean rejecting science. It does not mean pretending illness doesn't exist. It means making decisions without panic. It means asking a different question. Instead of, why is my body failing me? Ask, what is my body asking for? More rest? Less pressure? Better boundaries? More movement? More truth? More alignment? Illness can interrupt patterns we refuse to change. It forces pause. It demands reevaluation. It exposes unsustainable living. This does not romanticize suffering. Illness can be painful, frightening, devastating. Some conditions are severe and require lifelong management, but even within those realities, perspective shifts matter. Many people who experience health crises later say the interruption changed them. They slowed down. They prioritized differently. They repaired relationships. They reconnected with purpose. The illness was not the gift, but the message altered direction. And here's the quiet possibility I want you to sit. Why truly failing system would go silent A system that signals is still engaged, still adapting, still protecting, still trying. If your body were truly against you, it would not send warning signs. It would simply collapse without notice. Symptoms, in many cases, are evidence of effort. Your body is attempting to recalibrate. The question is not whether illness exists, it clearly does. The question is how you interpret it, as failure or as feedback. Because interpretation shapes response. If you see illness as betrayal, you fight. If you see illness as feedback, you listen. And listening changes behavior. You begin to rest before collapse. You set boundaries before burnout. You nourish before depletion. You address stress before crisis. Healing does not begin when you add more force. It begins when fear softens. It begins when you remember that your body has been working for you since the day you were born, even when you ignored it, even when you pushed it, even when you criticized it. It kept beating. It kept repairing. It kept adapting. Maybe illness is not the end of vitality. Maybe it is the moment you are invited back into alignment, back to rhythm, back to rest, back to awareness, back to partnership with your own biology. And perhaps the most powerful shift is this. You stop asking, how do I fight this? And start asking, how do I support what is already trying to heal? If this reflection changes even one small thought inside you, stay with that thought, because sometimes healing does not begin in the body. It begins in understanding, and maybe, just maybe, illness was never the failure. It was the message calling you back.